to the, obviously, if you've been following, the Roman Reigns Tribal Chief show, because, well, SmackDown is obviously better than Raw, and Roman Reigns is really the only reason for you to watch. But, tonight wasn't that bad, but, you had, as you see in the picture, Teddy Long. He came back for a little thing, and in a weird segment, like, I don't know, man. But, this led to something, but we'll get to that. We'll just try to go in order. And so the show really started off with Kevin Owens in the ring, doing his shtick with the Kevin Owens show. And I guess he had multiple guests, and one of them was Daniel Bryan. And he said it meant a lot to him that Daniel said he wanted to wrestle, I guess against each other. And they've done it in the past few times and shit. And Daniel said that they made each other better, and that the attitude he wants from everyone in SmackDown, that's the Daniel Bryan you want. He wants SmackDown to highlight the best superstars in the world, and essentially the same thing that he said to AJ Styles when AJ Styles became the Intercontinental Champion. And then eventually they went on to move about other championships and tag team championships. Now, I don't know, man. I don't get this company, because they split up tag teams all the time, and then they start to put teams together. Like, it just does not make sense. They split. All right, fine, whatever. You could say the Heavy Machinery, that's part of a storyline, because The Miz got Mandy Rose on Raw, now Tucker's on Raw. So, all right, fine. But I mean, Jesus Christ, like the women's division, they split up Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, and then now Peyton Royce is still back in the fucking tag division. It's like an endless cycle, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't think anyone wants to see Kevin Owens or Daniel Bryan in the tag division. They need to be single superstars, and I don't know, man. I don't know how this is gonna do anything, but whatever, we'll see. So, okay, so he's accomplished. Kevin Owens accomplished a lot, but never once tag team champion. And, obviously he's still looking like a face. So it's not really going to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn yet. But, and Bryan says that he betrayed his friends a lot. And so it makes sense. And, so, they start doing their little, oh, we could be this name, that name. And then Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, oh my god. Please move Bobby Roode away from Dolph Ziggler, please. It's fucking ridiculous. They come out, and then the Street Profits come out. And they do the thing, and then also the Cesaro and Shinsuke, they come out, and then this leads to what is it called? An 8-man tag match with Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and the Street Profits. And then, so obviously what you got was the Street Profits and Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens winning. Montez Ford went berserk after the match. And that was that. Then they go to advertise the Law and Otis time, and this took up most of the first hour, and then after the first hour, it ended. So this was simply, them making their case. Otis didn't have a lawyer. The Miz and Morrison, they had a lawyer, but then they eventually fired her. She was like, oh, the Otis made a good point, valid point, and Miz was like, you're fired. And so Ron Simmons was the bailiff, APA, and JBL was the judge. I don't fucking know, but whatever. I guess it makes sense in the end. He gives Mrs. Lawyer the he shuts her up and shit, and they all make their cases, and that was essentially that. Then they went back to wrestling and shit, and I don't know, man. I don't understand, like, I don't know. I think you should have drafted Miz and Morrison, kept them on SmackDown, and then eventually, once this storyline wrapped up, then you do a trade for them. I don't fucking know, man. That's what I think, but because you had a draft and then they're on SmackDown. Like, all right, they weren't there in person, but jeez, like, so whatever. Then they did a whole vignette for Bianca Belair, and then she ended up wrestling. And guys, there was no Natalya on this show. This show was perfect right there. No Natalya. She didn't even face Bianca Belair. Absolutely insane. So, but that was that. That was a little vignette for them. She's about to fight, but then Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens, the Street Profits, they do a little segment, and Daniel Bryan demands that the Street Profits fist him. And double enter that, eh? And so Sami Zayn rolls up to talk to Daniel Bryan about the IC title, and he tells Daniel Bryan to keep his visions for his title going forward because he's already beaten him for it, and he's going to continue doing things his way. So I don't know if we're getting this at Hell in a Cell, but there's been no build for this, and I don't know. It should be a good match, though. If they were, oh yeah, you know what, that shit happened at WrestleMania, and that was very disappointing, man. That match was disappointing, so I hope they make up for it if they ever do it again, So you had next you had Bianca Belair versus Zelina Vega. Obviously, you knew who was gonna win this one. I don't know because going back to Daniel Bryan, if you weren't on social media after the show and like you didn't see, Daniel Bryan addressed on Talking Smack that this current run right now is his last run full time. So this is going to be the last time you see Daniel Bryan on a full schedule, and going forward after that he's going to be a part-timer. And this is so shitty to see. It sucks, but I don't know. He's got a family now, so that's breaking news on this video. So there you go. Maybe I'll do a video about that and other news. But so you had Bianca Belair wins by pinfall with the KOD. Oh, and then commentary hypes up Lars Sullivan. Obviously, you didn't give a fuck about that. And back from commercial, Chad Gable is interviewed on why he would take this challenge. I don't think Chad Gable was drafted to any show. I think he's still a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. And so he just wants to prove himself and that he belongs there. So obviously, you know who the fuck won this one. Lars Sullivan did. And Chad Gable is getting interviewed again. He's coughing and dry heaving on the floor, and he says that I quit. So everyone's like, what the fuck, you quit? Like, obviously this is a storyline, but you'll see later on. Seth Rollins is interviewed backstage, and he's talking about how he's going to put Buddy Murphy in his place tonight. And then you had Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman in a nice room somewhere. Roman pushes 2 plates of full of food away from him, and broods to send to send them to break. And so after commercial, Chad Gable is having his shoulder iced by a trainer, And essentially, he's just like, when I meant what I quit being Shorty Gable, whatever the fuck. I'm Chad Gable now. So, Chad Gable is back. No more Shorty G, but we still call him Chad Gable anyways. But no more this stupid Shorty G gimmick. That shit's over. So, it's now going to be Chad Gable. So, Bayley then is sitting on a chair in the ring to cut a promo. And she still, remember from last week, she didn't sign the contract. And so this was a pretty good segment. Very nice. And it made sense because, Sasha Banks comes out and she gets in the ring, but eventually Bayley takes the chair and tries to swing it at Sasha. She misses, but Sasha's able to recover her women's championship. And so, obviously, you knew in some shape or form Bayley's going to sign that contract because she wants her championship back. So, eventually, it gets to the point where Bayley is on the floor and Sasha Banks, has her she has her head in the chair and she holds it down. And she's trying to force Bayley into signing the contract, in which she does. And so Bayley eventually signs the contract, and this was a nice segment and pretty good. And I don't know, I'm having conflicting thoughts of who should main event the show. Should it be Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, or should it be Sasha Banks and Bayley? And I don't know. I guess it could go either way, and I wouldn't really give a fuck. I think that both can, and it'll be interesting. And I think if this is a one-off match, that Sasha Banks finally gets her glory, and she's holding the title for a long time. So I don't know. We'll find out what happens. So you get at points where we go back to Law and Otis. That's what stupid shit was called. And John Morrison testified. Rey Mysterio testified. Asuka testified. And Asuka was speaking it in Japanese. And you know who the translator was? The translator was none other than what you're seeing on the screen. Teddy Long, baby. And I don't know. I was hyped to see Teddy Long. I miss Teddy Long. He should come back, and nice little role, and then Tucker Knight takes a stand, and whatever. So they then go to a break, and then they come back from a break, and more Law and Otis, and so then JBL was then giving his verdict, and he was leaning towards in favor of Otis. And The Miz is like, yo, I was saving this last evidence for last. And he pulls out a briefcase, and he's like, I think you're going to want to see this, JBL, Your Honor, Judge, whatever the fuck. And so he gives the briefcase to Ron Simmons, and Ron Simmons gives it to JBL. JBL opens it, and you hear the ka-ching, ka-ching, and so you knew that this was a bribe. And so in that case, JBL's like, oh, you know what, in light of new evidence, I'm ruling in favor of The Miz. And so now you're gonna get Otis defending the contract against Miz on this Sunday, 2 nights from now, and I'm fucking praying that The Miz finally takes the briefcase off. This would be way better than Otis having it. Miz is a heel. The Miz deserves another title shot. He deserves another run. He may not be the best wrestler in the world, but he's fantastic. And once you build him up, and he can be entertaining and shit. So I think maybe this would be a reliable. And Otis is shit. So I mean, Otis is cringe. Otis is not funny. Otis is, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're trying to make him this single star that he's not. And so we'll see what happens here. But I hope the Miz takes his title, the briefcase on Sunday. So, this is a good thing. You had the Miz bribing JBL, and JBL, he likes, from his gimmick, he liked the money at like the end of his career. So, nice touch and shit. But you get a video package from the whole Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy drama. And so then you're going to get Seth Rollins versus Buddy Murphy. Good match. And in the end, obviously, Seth Rollins wins now. I don't know what's going to happen here. I really don't. Because, maybe this match should have happened at Hell in a Cell, or they're going to stretch it out. But my thoughts or my thinking is that they're trying to wrap things up quickly because Seth Rollins is going on vacation soon, on maternity leave with Becky Lynch, and so she's doing like December, November, so that's what I'm thinking. So maybe that's why they did it tonight, and they want to stretch this shit. But after the match, Rollins gets a kendo stick and he's gonna beat the shit out of Buddy Murphy, and then you see Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and Aaliyah. They're watching in the back, and she's like, "Guys, you guys should help him." And they're like, "No, we gotta stay out of this." And she's like, "You know what? If you guys won't help him, I will." And she runs out, and she tries to help him, but Seth Rollins starts hitting him with the few shots in, and so then she protects Buddy Murphy. And then Dominic Mysterio comes out, and then Seth beats him up, and then he's getting beat up, and Rey Mysterio makes a save, and so then you had he saves the day, and everyone is pretty much out the ring besides Mysterio and Buddy Murphy and Aaliyah. So it was going to look like they were going to kiss and the IWC would have exploded, but they did not kiss. So, I don't know what to say. This show was on Fox Sports 1, so we'll see how they do well tomorrow. But now it's time for the end of the show. And Roman Reigns making his entrance with Paul Heyman, of course. Gets on the mic, but a masked Uso was on the Tron with food in a chair, and he has a mask on. He's like one of those bandanas, and he says it must be great to be the tribal chief or even just his cousin, but he's changed. He's got his head so far up his ass, he's lost his connection with the family. But don't ask him. He unmasks himself, and it's not Jey Uso, it's Jimmy Uso. And he's like, "Oh, Jey Uso's right behind you." And so, obviously Jey Uso gets his move. He super kicks Roman Reigns and then does like a frog splash, I think. And then Roman Reigns is he's up. And he cuts a promo, and he gets to the mic and says that if Jey Uso makes him quit, he just doesn't lose his title. Oh, if Jey Uso makes him say he quits, Roman Reigns, he doesn't just lose the title. He loses his position as tribal chief and head of the family, and asks if Jey can live with that. But when he makes Jey quit, he will make him quit. And he will fall in line, take the orders, and acknowledge, respect all he does in WWE and for the family. And if he can't, he's out. And he's out of the family, his brother, their wives, their children, their children's children. And they all turn their backs on them. And those are the consequences. And so, and then you had the Hell in a Cell started to lower around Roman, and then Jey climbs the cage to stare him down. That's the show. And I really liked obviously, you like the segment. I like the touch that they did with, how you having, because I didn't even think about this shit. So I was like, what is the purpose of him wearing like a mat or whatever the fuck? And he takes off his hat. Jimmy Uso takes off his hat, and he has braids, but Jey Uso doesn't have braids. Jey Uso has his, hair, his like normal hair, and so it was very, they're twins, so you can't really tell them apart besides those details, and another fact that Jimmy Uso's dating Naomi, but you can't really tell them apart much, and so I thought this was a nice touch, and it'll be interesting. It's gonna be in my thumbnail, like Jey Uso out of the family, so it'll be interesting. And so I don't know, those two matches, the Bayley Sasha and the Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso, those are gonna be the matches to watch. I don't really know what the fuck else is on the show, because I don't even think they have tag matches. Do they even have a U.S. Intercontinental Championship match? Like, I don't even know. So I gotta go over that. But that's it. That's the show. And so if you liked what you saw, please leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Turn that notification bell on, and I'll see you.